Well, hello, everyone. This is Michelle Gardner-Ince. How are you? So glad that you're joining us today on day 5 of the National Small Business Week. Literally, since Sunday, we have been just having an amazing time. Let me just say that you're in for a treat this evening with Coach Sean Austin. I'll talk a little bit more about him later. But while we're just warming up here, I do want to say thank you for joining. Many of you have been with us all 5 days. And if you haven't, no worries. You can go to my profile, select the events tab. You'll see posts, mentions, and then it'll go all the way across to um, events. You hit events and it will show, guess what? All 7 days of the sessions. We've been going 2 hours, 6 to 8 p.m. every single day, all in honor of National Small Business Week and their theme, empowering small businesses. And for those of you who may not know, haven't joined one of our sessions, every Wednesday, I'm joined by an amazing group of human beings on the Demystifying Government Contracting LinkedIn Live session. Tonight, we are broadcasting on Facebook, we're broadcasting on YouTube, LinkedIn, and even Twitter as well. So what I want to say is, why did we get started with this Demystifying Government Contracting? How did I get started with the LinkedIn audio, LinkedIn Live? Well, the story is one that is not about me. In 2021, first of all, I started my series, I call that LinkedIn Journey, in 2019. And so, 2019, I was trying to figure it out, even though I'd been on the platform pretty much since about 2011 or so, 2011 or 2012. And I had people who were trying to get me on well before that. But I didn't really get serious about it until 2019, took some boot camps. Shout out to Nick Nelson, brandpreneur, brand master. He's the one that really got me started, and his boot camp is a boot camp. Let me just say that. So when LinkedIn, chose me as a LinkedIn top voice, and a lot of people don't know you can't pay for that. You can't apply for that. They watch your activity and you're selected. So I was just overwhelmed by the honor, considering I think it was me and the Chief Master Sergeant of the Air Force were the first 2 women veterans, and then 2 senior executives, Anselm Beach and Mr. Dr. Paul Lawrence, were selected for as well in the same group in 2021. Well, when 2022 came along, they said, hey, we want you to beta test this new feature called LinkedIn Audio, LinkedIn Live. And I was like, oh, hey, I'd love to try that. But if I'm going to have this honor of using this beta test, I want to use it for the small business community. And so really that's how it happened. And at the same time around that, period was when President Biden's executive order 13985. My love is small business. So specifically Section 8, which talks about equity in government contracting. That was the section that I was really, really most interested in. And one of the key factors is it instills or challenges all 99 federal agencies that are held accountable to this to engage industry and the community in a different way. Well, what better way than to do that on LinkedIn? That's how it, that's kind of how I got started. And I started on the stage by myself, specifically talking about equity in government contracting, talking about how important it is to help veterans, women, minorities, LGBTQ and disabled CEOs be more successful. Those are the groups that the executive order covers. And so slowly, this is what's so amazing. Slowly, people came in. We talk about all kinds of different subjects, but more than anything, slowly these amazing human beings, and Coach Sean Austin is one of those, joined me on stage, and it rounded out what I call a 360-degree view of government contracting. So, I do want to go through a few administrative remarks, and say that one, day to day, or 9 to 5, I work for the Department of Veteran Affairs, and everything that you see here is my opinion, and not the opinion of my I wanted to put the banner up, the disclaimer banner, is my opinion and not the opinion of the Department of Veteran Affairs, and my guests' opinions are their own. We're not sharing any procurement sensitive information. We're not sharing any insider tips. But what I love is we are bringing context to the massive amounts of information out there on the internet. You can go to YouTube, you can go Instagram, Facebook, you can find a plethora of information about how easy it is to be successful in government contracting. Well, it is not impossible, but I would not say it's not easy. And you might say, well, Michelle, you don't know, you're a government employee. Well, yes, I do. I spent 27 years in the United States Air Force. I was an entrepreneur the entire time. Most of my adult life, all of my adult life, I've spent serving military members and their families through entrepreneurial pursuits. That's hotels, restaurants, department stores, grocery stores, horse stables, marinas, country clubs, anything you can think of on a military base that serves its members and its families. I've either worked in it or been in charge of it. And my largest job was when I was with the Army Air Force Exchange Service, which is the largest military retail operation in the world. I ran the Pacific region, 7,000 people, $1.8 billion, 87 locations, and had an absolute blast. And so I thought, oh, I got this thing. When I retire, I'm going to go into business and I'm just going to kill this game. Well, epic fail. I was not good at all. So let me just say to you that I really am passionate about helping small businesses and CEOs excel, because I failed. Even with all of the information, all of the experience I had, and mind you, that $1.8 billion, I had total profit loss, responsibility, briefing the board, of APHIS if we did not meet our goals, making requests for new construction, negotiating land deals for new locations of stores, all of that, but yet I failed. And so, ever since I came to the Office of Small Business, I've been passionate about helping small businesses excel. And this is an extension of what I love to do after and before hours, because believe me, it is almost like a full-time job. But with that, I want to go ahead and see if Coach Austin is here, and it looks like he is. Hey there, Coach. What's going on?
It's going good. Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you. Let's see. I
Wonderful.
want to thank. Hey, what's up, Lori? Thanks for joining us. But I want to welcome Coach Sean Austin of Austin Business Strategies, aka Bank Ready, my brother. He's one of the amazing human beings who has joined me on demystifying, government contracting every Wednesday from 7 to 8. And when I tell you that, his company, his whole brand, his whole, I would say, persona is about bridging the gaps and bringing small businesses across a bridge and helping them to be not only more bank ready, but also to be more proficient, to be more successful, whether that's supplier development success, whether that's corporate success, or whether that is a small business success. I've had the opportunity to, we went almost a year and a half, I think, before we really got to know each other. And let me tell you, that's the beauty of the internet. And we got to meet at a veteran retreat and conference, and it's like I've known him all my life. He has a tremendous mind. He has the ability to interpret the complexity of corporate and small business issues, and then he's not just let me tell you what's wrong and walk away. He can bridge the gap and walk them across to help them be successful. So love you and so glad you're here with me.
No, I'm
Or with
glad to be
us,
here.
I should say with us.
I know, right? Yeah, yeah. No, it's good to be here. It's wild to hear that introduction because I mean we live it, but we live in a world of such disinformation and so much stuff going on. I don't know any other way but to just be this way. And I had to and still have to or feel I have to just study. I like it though. Study so much to where I don't ever want to be in a situation where somebody's asking me something I don't know.
Right, right.
I don't
And
want to feel like I
when they do ask you something you don't know, it's not like you don't know everything. You just don't know that part.
exactly.
And that's what I admire about you is you are a continual learner. You are curious and thirsty for for understanding just different aspects of the business arena that you don't know. But it's not like you take that information and it's that one nugget. You're now bringing it into the entire portfolio and Excel spreadsheet. I'm going to use that concept with what you already know. And there's this whole,
Yeah.
resorting, a new analysis. So tell us, you are passionate about helping small businesses. You're kind of young, but not. And you're old soul. You've had a tremendous amount of experience. Tell us, how did you get started in business, first of all? Because I know you did some corporate and other time.
So I was a research coordinator, cancer research coordinator at Baylor here in Houston. Flipping houses part time. It was a little part time gig. I was around real estate since I was a kid. So pouring concrete, setting forms, and all that was a summer job of mine on my dad's side. And if I wasn't there, I was on a farm in Lawtell, Louisiana. So I was always doing some type of work, which just was life. But in that cancer research space, the lead doctor walked in one day. She's never shows emotion. She's very stoic. She's from New Zealand, but a brilliant mind. And she walked in that day red as a crawfish. I mean, red as a crawfish, tearing up. I'm like, what are you crying for? Like, you never, and in cancer research, you see a lot of death. Long story short, she said, they forced us to restructure the department. We're going to have to let you
Wow.
guys go. And I don't want
Wow.
to let you go. I don't.
Wow.
But I know you have a family, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, wait, where's that coming from? I had no clue. Man, okay, so what are we gonna do? So I called my grandmother. She said, baby, just do what you know how to do. I'm like, how do you know, baby, do what you know how to do? So I sat depressed for about a week and I said, okay, I'm gonna do this real estate full time. And I just jumped into it, turned the portfolio up, did as much as we could do, blah, blah, blah. And it was an amazing, amazing, amazing journey. Fast forward to 2007, and I think I have it even saved here. My first hub certification. So
Wow.
I got my first certification, and from there it was a wrap. That was it. That was it.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's how
Wow.
business started. Had my degrees, all that was fine. International finance and trade, business management, but I had to use it. I had to put to good use. So I got a phone call one day, and this was my first contract before I knew that's what it was called. Got a call on a Friday. My sales guy who I was working with, he said, "Hey, we got a call here. Do you want to go to Dallas?" I said, "For what?" They need a minority developer to work this Dallas intermodal project up here. I'm like, "Yeah." Packed my bags Friday afternoon, went up there, came back Tuesday with a memorandum of understanding. Here's what we got to do. Here's what's going on. I'm like, okay, this is how this thing works. And in the city of Dallas, Hutchins, Lancaster, that whole piece needed a minority developer, and we had the capacity to do so. Built a team, took off. That
Wow.
was that was history from that point on.
And
Yeah.
and did you what did you find? You know, I know you have like 18 years plus experience. What's the difference between that first contract, if you can remember back that far, and you know, some of the contracts you have now? What's the difference?
I remember like it was yesterday. I won't ever forget that because I remember driving. We had the old internet hockey puck Wi-Fi thing that you had to plug into your cigarette lighter. So I was doing that, and I had a lady help me with my business plan before I presented it to the city for them to approve it. So I remember that. I would never forget any of that back and forth. I had a speeding ticket one time. The officer was like, "Oh, well, you're working on that project. Well, let me help you go into." So he drove me into the city instead
Police
of giving me.
escort. Wow.
Yeah, yeah. Because he said, "Oh, okay, we've been waiting for you." I'm like, "Really?" So what the difference between now and then isn't really a whole lot of technical. It's about the same stuff.
Mm-hmm.
RFI, RFQ,
Mm-hmm.
this, that, and third, the same stuff, but now I know it. Like
Yeah.
know it.
Yeah.
And there's some things in the fall I'm not, maybe as well versed, but when it comes to the technical nature of problem solution, fill in the need, oh, I know that backwards and forwards because I can sense where the need is at and how to fill that. And even so much as that, okay, y'all see this problem. There's two or three other layers to this thing that you haven't seen yet. So let's diagnose that. And they're like, well, how do you know? I'm studying
Wisdom.
this thing. Yeah, yeah. So
Wisdom.
that's what would be the difference, I guess you can say. The wisdom
And
of being around it so long.
and what would you, you know, because there's all these this stuff on the internet and out there, you know, about how easy it is, and just do this. Like, it's really not that. It's not that easy, is it?
Mic check. Oh, okay. So for all the people, please stop falling for this mess. I'm actually starting to call it out because there's a few people that say, "Oh, I won a $70 million contract overnight." But when I put your name in fpds.gov, you don't come up.
Oh wow.
Mhm.
Trust but
No,
verify. That's why that statement's at the bottom. You know.
trust but verify. I mean, when I teach and train clients, I don't tell them too much of what not to do or to do. I try to put them in a room to where they'll hear it, and then I'll second that emotion, or I'll show them different things. And there's a reason why. There's a method to the madness. It's not that easy, but it's easier than the gurus make it because they're not in it. So they're trying to
Mm,
make it a get rich quick thing, and it's really embarrassing small businesses because they go into rooms thinking they're entitled to this thing, and you get hit with a wall of a doctor, lawyer, or
mhm.
these contracting officers. Like, where'd you get that from? Like, you're
Yes.
wasting my time with this nonsense, and now they're getting hip to what the games are, and it's like, no, so you're it's not that way, but it is easier if you just follow the laid out path and process to get to where you want to get
Mhm.
because they want you, they need you. I was on the Department of Defense webinar today, and they showed what goals they were missing. They were missing the service disabled veteran goal, the women on goal, the hub zone goal. They were missing it. So I was on a live on Instagram saying, hey, this is where the money is at. And you're
Yep.
missing these goals. If you can help them meet these goals, et cetera, follow the money, follow. So it's not as easy as they make it, but it's easier than people think because again, we need to demystify this process and let
Yes.
people know it
Yeah.
is a process. Keep your 9 to 5. Don't stress so much about the just follow this particular
Mhm.
trajectory and you'll
Mhm.
be better off than you realize.
And staying in your niche, right? Not trying to be everything to everybody. Understanding who you are. I believe William Randolph talked about it on day one last Sunday. He said, stay true to who you are and what you sell and how you sell it, and then find the client match for that. And I think that was such, I've heard it said many ways, but that's the beauty of this community that we're building, is the different perspectives and it from hearing similar um, strategies, but maybe somebody just has a little, just a little tweak to it. Like Guy last night, the go-to guy, he had a little, he had, I'd heard that information, and that was the second time I heard it. And I'm like, I need to go listen to it again. But it was just, a little different. And I think as people are embarking on this journey, that's why we've been saying, let's do our business together, let's grow. One of the things that you're going to be talking about, artificial intelligence, is a way for, when used correctly, and used in the context it needs to be, can empower small businesses. So
Oh my
tell us,
goodness.
lead us up into that, and tell us what we're in store for, because I know it's going to be a treat.
Yeah. So one of the things I thought about was, now we're at a precipice to where this technology is at everyone's fingertips. And normally, when you have the Industrial Revolution and different waves of technology and revolutions, we're not at the forefront at all.
Hmm.
Either our ideas are stolen from us.
True.
I was at the New York Stock Exchange a couple weeks ago, and I know the history of the stock exchange. I know we were the first equities and things sold and bought on that stock exchange.
Mm.
So to get there, like I was excited to see where I was at, because not many people can say they've been on the floor.
Hmm.
All my private equity buddies and venture capital folks would cheer me on, just to be there. But at the same time, I sat there for a second and like, wow, this was built on us.
Yeah.
This juggernaut of an industry was built on us. We were the first. So I said, okay, I have a duty even more so now. I feel like an ancestral download. I have a duty now to even more so teach how the AI that we've been using for almost 3.5 years now, 4 years now, works, and not to be afraid of it. Don't fall for some of the hype that you may see or whatever. Yes, it's new and it's different, but if we can take our creative juices and our
Mm.
innovative juices and just learn how to use it in its infancy, just learn
Yes.
how to use it. It's almost like the Matrix when the Neo got in the Sentinel and blew it up from the inside out.
Yeah. It's one
That's
of my
us
favorite
now.
movies.
Yeah. That's us now. Because you can't blow this up. You can't burn this Tulsa. Okay. You can't recreate this Seneca, New York. You can't do that now because this is your
Wow.
baby. So
Wow.
now it's like let's take our piece, learn it, develop it. You can take a chat GPT or a transformer and train it how you want it to react and
Hmm.
act and speak
Hmm.
and respond. We're doing that now too. So we can do that, and I'll go over multiple different industries that is being
Yeah.
used in. But man, if we can do that, what even government is asking for is, hey, help us learn this stuff because we don't
Yes.
know it as well as we need to.
Yes.
And if
Yeah.
we can come into a space where racism maybe isn't there, it's more about the dollar and the advancement than it is the prejudices, we can make a move that can't be taken from us. Because once we get it up here and in that data, that's a changer. So
I
that's
don't know if
my piece to it.
I so agree. It was really surprising to me because I was reading this week that Tyler Perry canceled an $800 million improvement at his studios in Atlanta, and they were supposed to build like 10, 12 more studios, but he said the new video AI is so sophisticated that if he wants it to snow, he doesn't have to go to that place to it and create snow. He can create it within this
Yeah.
verse universe, you know
Mhm.
and that he has to analyze, he decided, I'm going to pause on that and look at how maybe some of that money should be used differently to invest into this AI. So it was so timely, and I'm thinking, if this, juggernaut of an industry like Tyler Perry's is taking pause and saying, what can it do, for my business? And I don't want to go out and spend all this money and then I could have spent less money or made my money work more strategically, right?
Indeed.
And
Indeed.
intentional for where my business was going. And I think that's so appropriate on why, what you're going to share with us is going to be so empowering and impactful. So with that, I'm going to get off the stage and turn it over to you, Coach Sean Austin,
No
aka
worries.
Bank Ready. Come on, and we gonna hey, get your questions together, lean
Yeah.
in, because we're gonna be ready. Let's get this up here for you.
Yes,
Uh,
indeed. So yeah,
yeah,
there we go.
yeah.
There we go. Good stuff. I think I can click it. Yep, I can just click it from here. Yeah, yeah, all right, perfect. So, so. Um, this is going to be interesting for everybody here, and I really want you guys just to dive into it. Bank Ready S is a registered trademark brand owned by the company, so please don't take and remix my stuff. It is a protected model. Been at this, well, I need to change that. 18 years now. We are a capacity building business development firm, and without going into too much of just the background of it all, we take businesses, especially small and medium sized businesses, from where they are to where they're looking to be. Right? We understand what it takes to build that capacity. We understand what it takes to get you where you are. I'm at the tables you're looking to be in. I understand what the JP Morgans need. I understand what Shell needs, Booz Allen, all those folks. And if we can just make you a little bit more sophisticated in what you do, listen, the sky's the limit. And then we take the rings off and we can run from there. Cultivating AI in business development is what we're going to cover tonight. Cultivating. How do we build artificial intelligence into what we're doing now? If you go to the federal procurement data systems right now, just later on, fpds.gov, fpds.gov. And in the search bar, type artificial intelligence and see how long they've been researching and dealing with this. This is nothing new, y'all. I go back as far, I think 79, 81, 80, that time period. Research and development has been going on for some time now. So this is nothing new, right? It's retail, but we've been using it for 3.5 years. The first model we used was almost in an email fashion, to where I would learn what your business personality was like. There's 4 business personalities out there. And without going into so much depth into it, I'm a country boy from Louisiana. So I talk a certain way, but you won't always hear me because I don't speak everyone's language. But if I can peg your personality just so under 4 different categories for 4 different people, that's 16 different categories. The AI can change the wording to fit how you listen. So it's not like I've always been that good in responding. It's just that the AI understands what words you hear. So the person that's more into the research phase, or more about tree hugger folks, or this, that, and the third, the folks that are more blueprint corporate, you need to hear certain words to attract you to what we're talking about. That was then, and we still use the same technology now. Let's start. So we're going to go over AI. I don't want to kill you by PowerPoint, but I do want to give you some type of rudder to the ship to keep us guided along this way. Okay. What is AI? Let's do that first before we go too far. AI is a very general term, but we'll break it down. Screenshot this, whatever. But I think once we break it down, you'll see what it is, what it's not. But AI, basically, artificial intelligence refers to the ability of machines to perform tasks that typically require human intelligence. So, how do I teach the machine to do what I would do, but do it more efficiently? AI is achieved through the development of algorithms, computer programs that are designed to mimic the cognitive abilities of humans. That's basically it. How does this machine act like I think? I can Google what I want to Google, but boy, if I can put 10x to my brain and take off, this is amazing. Now, right here, some people are like, I'm afraid of that. I'm not afraid of it because I've seen it work. So it's not like it'll take your job, but it's like the Industrial Revolution. Old jobs had to go away for us to move forward into the future. So let us learn how AI works, especially in its infancy of being more retail now than ever before. And if you learn how to use it, you become a subject matter expert in that space. Now you can help your company advance because they're looking for you out there. So yes, some jobs may go away, and as it should. We have to evolve with things, but don't be afraid that it's going to take your job away because it still needs cognitive ability to move. It can't do it by itself. Prompt engineering is the best way for, I think, any of us to get into what and how AI works. Critical thinking. If you don't read a whole lot, if you don't have a certain level of cognitive capacity, you just kind of blow in the wind every day, this is it's not going to work for you. And yes, you will probably lose your job, unfortunately. But we're on LinkedIn, so I'm assuming everyone here has a certain level of cognitive capacity where critical thinking is one of the main things of reasons that attracts you to LinkedIn. Prompt engineering. What is prompt engineering? Is a technique used in artificial intelligence to optimize and fine tune, right, these language models for particular tasks and desired outputs. What you put in, it will give you back. So if you learn how to prompt it, which is basically asking it the right questions, will give you a desired outcome. Okay, also known as prompt design. Prompt engineer is one thing, prompt design, same term, but it can give you some different results. It's referred to the process carefully constructing prompts and inputs for AI models to enhance their performance. So AI will do its thing, but it'll only perform as well as what you give it. You give it the right tools, the right seeds, it will perform better. Please screenshot this, write it down, but definitely screenshot this. Key components of AI. Like I said, AI in the middle is the general term, but these are the main focal points of what AI is. Machine learning, how to make the machine begin to learn how you need it to. Deep learning is almost like a layer underneath that. The neural networks, how you connect these computers together, right? The natural language models, the computer mimicking, the cognitive computing, all of these different facets are what's considered artificial intelligence. Still needed by humans to control it, but the different models do different things. So in my space, I may need only a natural language model and some machine learning. Someone in engineering may go deep learning and cognitive computing. It all depends. And the more you research these and watch those YouTube videos from the Google folks and the Amazon folks and AWS folks that are teaching these, then you'll start to learn, oh, this is how this works, right? Artificial intelligence and its subsets, we just kind of went over that just a second ago in the previous slide. Artificial intelligence, field of study that uses computers, machine learning, a subset of AI that uses algorithms to learn and improve from training data, and deep learning, a subset of machine learning that uses multi-layered networks to build models. So each one builds on the other, if you notice. What does this have to do with small business? I'll show you in just a little bit. Benefits of AI in small business. How do I take all those models or the ones that benefit me and make it my business more highly efficient in customer service? Uh, I can have some off the rack solutions because there are just like shoes and clothes that we buy. There'll be some language models, there'll be some subsets, right? That will, how can I say this? Can be a solution that's already pre-made that I can take and plug and play. Okay. Transform my marketing processes. The old way we used to market, nah, that's neither here nor there. You can use AI to market much more efficiently, much more effectively. Save you costs, save you time, greater insights on your competitors' business processes. Now, what do I mean by that? What do I mean by that? So, if I want to learn more about my competitors, okay, how can I research them? Well, AI can start to learn what your competitors do and don't do. You can learn more about your I learn more about my competitors now through AI than I ever did trying to Google search. Market feasibility data, so much you can do with AI because you teach it what to look for and it combs the entire web browser network out there. More than we can do, way more than we can do. So sometimes I'm not as smart as I may come out to be, but it's the data that I'm asking for that helps me out tremendously. Now, we have heard about ChatGPT, right? But what is a GPT? What is it? What does it mean? Well, AI language models developed by OpenAI is a GPT. What is a GPT? It is a generative pre-trained transformer. Michelle, I'm not sure we can take this little thing off at the bottom. It's covering my slide. That don't forget to share today's session. Can we take that off? There we go. Perfect. So generative has creative and has creativity to generate original text as it was written by a real person. So I can put something in and it like what ChatGPT does now, it makes it almost like you made it. It's almost like you're speaking. That's the generative part. The pre-trained part is it's trained with vast amounts of text, books, articles, websites, etc. I'll go into a slide later, but it'll break down how GPT-1 started, GPT-2, 3, and 4. If you notice, it started in 2018 down to this year. So they started loading different things into it, encyclopedias, different web browsers, books, magazines, the whole bit. So when you create your own transformer, which is what we've done with Bankrate, you can do this for almost any network that you're in, you can pre-train it. Some of the procurement data, you can put the FAR in there, you can put any data you want in there and allow it to analyze it. So when you're asking it a question, it has more of a precise depth of information to pull from to answer your question more succinctly. And the transformer architect that helps it to understand the connections between words, context, and even emotions. So that's what a GPT truly is. So when you understand what a GPT is and how that transformer works for you, AI has become almost more fun than anything else. And the more we learn about these things, the less afraid we can be or we need to be. And again, this is just another slide that kind of broke down the time frame. But from June 2018 is when the first GPT-1 from OpenAI hit till really now. GPT-4 came around in 2023. Okay. Now, I'm getting a little saucy with this, but again, I want you as a small business owner to really think about how this generative part, what is the generative part? Has creativity to generate original text as if was written by a real person. So generative AI is a whole subsector. We're going to get into it now. Artificial intelligence, machine learning, deep learning, automated speech recognition, natural language processing, and generative AI, all of this together makes up that generative part. So all these different subsets help it to learn and speak and act more like a person. So when you see the robots in the stores or like the ones in China or all that, that's what this is. All these different subsets of the artificial part that's being learned and taught by humans to even act more like a human and process things even faster. That's what this is. So, AI and business development opportunities. There are so many opportunities now for someone that has a certain level of critical thinking. Then when you take AI away, you're almost a dinosaur. So having these AI applications have been developed and integrated into various industries such as finance, healthcare, construction, engineering, cybersecurity. Michael, successful case studies have been shown to benefit AI integration. The future potential of artificial intelligence includes emerging technologies that have the possibility to make significant impacts. It's just so much, y'all. There's so much. Again, I don't want to kill you with PowerPoint, but now we're speaking about government contracting, so I want to put this particular article in here from Deloitte. By examining the tasks needed across the procurement lifecycle, leaders can find opportunities for AI to both increase the efficiency and effectiveness of the government. Now, this is where we come in as procurement individuals, right, in different facets of the procurement lifecycle or the government contracting lifecycle, transforming the tasks that we do. Okay, AI improving effectiveness and AI improving efficiency. You put that alone, this little slide right here, into any proposal to any government agency to say, hey, I am here as a SME to improve the effectiveness and improve efficiency of the tasks within your department, and we're doing it now as well. Understanding just this alone can help a normal procurement cycle. Now you have an AI influenced procurement cycle be much more effective and efficient. This is what the US and globally is looking for. The intake process, processing information, customer engagement, again, more effective, more efficient, saves more money, makes things more profitable. And as a small business owner, I don't care if it's construction or healthcare. If you understand how to do this by engaging in these natural language models and engaging in the chat GPTs of the world and the BARD, et cetera, right? Perplexity, which I'm not sure if you guys have used Perplexity before, but I'll walk through it just a little bit later. It's taking what we already know how to Google and then subsetting it into the different AI tools that give us more data, more effective data, and then we take that data, understand how to use it, and then show the agencies and the government officials that don't know how to use it, and how to be more profitable. For me, as a small business owner, that's what you bring to the table. That's exactly what you bring to the table. Y'all got any questions? Please put them in chat as we go along, because I want to make sure I'm answering them as we go, or we can wait till the end. But if you got any questions or this is working, let me know so I can get some emotion kind of flowing through here, so I know it's not just me by myself. Let me know what you think, how you feel. It's helping. Let's get to it. Different types of AI can be used for different government problems. Speech recognition can help in dictation and phone assistance. Machine translation can be applied to international relations, defense, intelligence, domestic areas. Rules-based systems, machine learning, robotics, computer vision, natural language processing, revolutionizing every facet of the government operation. Again, if you're a SME, and especially locally, yes, you can help federally, of course, but you can help your local city, municipalities, counties, ports, right? Be more efficient with these small models. Ladies and gentlemen, you are definitely changing the game. Definitely changing the game. This will be considered like best practices in AI implementation. To ensure successful AI adoption in business, there are two important steps that you want to follow. First, managing change is crucial to prepare your organization for AI transformation. So, whatever organization you're going to work for, you can't just dump this on them. Like, this is going to be a lot for today, right? This is a lot at one time. But as we walk away from this presentation and deal with something else in our life, and task here, task there, and we're thinking about the RFIs and RFPs and different things we want to handle, the organization itself and how it runs, I think about all the time. This is a culture change that we're going to implement within our organizations that are around us. So you have to make certain that you're taking your time and preparing the organization for the transformation. What I also like about that as a small business owner, this really hooks your fangs and your horns into that organization, because you're a policy shifter, policy changer, policy developer. They're not going to want to lose you, because you're the main piece that's helping navigate the sale. Most people are very afraid of artificial intelligence doing so many different things. But if you can bring a kind of a guiding light to this process, to this anomaly, to this thing that's making most people very afraid, and help them pass through this uncertainty time, I think you'll be okay for the long term. Next, measuring through KPIs and metrics for AI's initiatives is important to track its progress. It's one thing to talk about it and get everybody ready for it. But boy, if you can set those metrics and those KPIs in place to show how you're making that progress, how you're making things more efficient, how you're making things more profitable and effective, the data doesn't lie. And you publish that in a white paper, kudos to you. I talked earlier about the different types that are out there. Don't just fall asleep on this chat GPT thing. I love OpenAI. It's great. Technically, they're all really good. But I want you to understand the difference between a Perplexity, a Bard AI, Microsoft Copilot, etc. There's a ton of these out here. There's a ton. I'll give you a small example. I use Copilot when I'm in Microsoft for certain things. Can you use this for policy? You sure can. Yes, you can. You can use this artificial intelligence. This is just a higher level um, of analysis, higher level of research. So whatever you would normally write, Google search, etc., you put an AI tool to this, and it gives you so much more data to extrapolate and so much more finite data to extrapolate. And yeah, they're using it for almost anything, any and everything, especially policy development. Most definitely. A lot of policy is old. So if you go to change policy, why you want to change it? Bring that research to the table. How do we change it? Bring that research to the table. Department of Defense was talking about this morning. They're doing some of their IDIQs 10 years out. So there's a policy that has to be changed within that. Yes, you can definitely use AI for that. Definitely. Um, I use Perplexity and ChatGPT together. I use Perplexity for more research, bolder research that ChatGPT is not built for. That particular transformer isn't made to give me more robust data and research. So I'll take an article, take some information that I'll get maybe from the Wall Street Journal and something from the FAR and whatnot, and I'll have it do research for me. I'll take that data and stick it in ChatGPT. Now synthesize this for me. That's just learning how each of the AI tools work. I like Bard for certain research that maybe ChatGPT doesn't do. So once you start to use them more effectively and take the courses, they're free courses. They're free certification courses by Google, by Microsoft, NVIDIA. Yo, they're free. I like the perspective that they give me. Not just getting the certification, that's fine. I'll even post them. But how to use the data is and how to use the tool, insane. For my healthcare folks that are out there, applications in AI in healthcare. If I'm a nurse, daughter's going to college now, she's taking her clinicals. She's going to be taking these AI certification courses to understand how AI is used in rare disease diagnosis. Now, I want y'all to pause for a second. Michelle asked me a question earlier about how and why I'm so passionate about this with small business and how certain things were taken from us as small, especially minority business owners, and we had to always catch up. This is the same thing that a McKesson can be using. Yes, of course, we don't have as robust of a GPT as they may have, but there are certain things that large firms can't do that a small business can do. And if I can take an AI tool and learn drug development, medical diagnoses, cancer research, AI robotic assisted surgery, I understand how it works. If the surgeon is using it, he has to be taught by somebody. So if I'm a nurse practitioner, nurse anesthetist even, and I understand, Michael, cybersecurity in healthcare even, that increases my likelihood as a SME to come into this firm, into this hospital system, and help that hospital system be more robust and more accurate and save more lives with the data that we have. Do you think everybody in that hospital knows how to use artificial intelligence and how to use the data? Nope. But yes, sir. But if we do, we can help humanity, society, small business, and large corporations move more effectively. We can talk to a person as a normal person and not come in as some big juggernaut company. And what I have learned about these, especially the ones you don't learn how to code, but you have enough critical thinking and industry expertise to learn how to use these tools to your advantage and help and submit a proposal. Yo, I can go on for hours with this stuff. Let's keep it moving. AI and finance. What are my fields? Algorithmic trading is out there. Automated workflow. Everybody can use that, not just finance. Personalized experience, advanced credit scoring, rapid fraud protection, Michael again, risk management, Marvin, right? Portfolio optimization. I'm gonna say this: you you can optimize your own portfolio when you start understanding how to use these algorithms and these AI tools to see which ETF, which mutual fund has the best risk, okay, the best profit margin, the best, right? Which Vanguard fund works best. You can put those numbers into a calculator, right? And show me if I put $10,000 into this thing at $400 a month at this percent interest, how much will I have in 20 years? Teach that to your kids and watch that financial acumen grow. Okay. Dr. Laura's son is a brilliant guy. He's jumping into this AI thing and just taking off with it. Their minds are just like, wow. So, this is the empowerment that our people need to put us in a position to where we're not dependent on a bigger system. This is the bigger system. I don't have to compete with NVIDIA. If y'all haven't seen the NVIDIA CEO's speech that he did 2 months ago, I'm gonna put that link in my LinkedIn tomorrow. Every major company is working with NVIDIA's chips, all of them. So it's a level playing field now. So yes, now NVIDIA becomes what Microsoft and Google and Apple were. They're the big boy, but everybody's playing with them. So we understand just the core technology behind it all. It's a level playing field. Microsoft Azure is another AI software. Um, these are the components that it's used with. So for those of my small businesses that are going from maybe 2-3 million a couple 100,000 revenue, and you're getting into that space where you need a more robust system, Microsoft is yours for you. You start off with the small Copilot, and you can advance up. Now, this part I like. Make sure y'all can hear me. This part I like. When I start learning and seeing how AI is used to help proposal writing, I said, wait, hold up. This is different. And I can take an RFP, request for proposal, RFI even, sole source even, put it into some of these AI tools. Hey, break this down for me. Take notes on this. You are a, high level executive. You're a five-star general with the Air Force. You're this type of procurement officer, blah, blah, blah. You're evaluating this for a particular project. Before you go into this attachment, before you read this RFP, I need you to ask me, what questions would you ask me as a submitting body to understand how this breaks down? Like what would this be? Right? And I want you to analyze it in a way to where I want you to be able to analyze, ask me the question I need to ask before you respond. And then when you respond, once I've answered those questions to you, then I want you to be able to respond to this request for proposal and write me a proposal that covers everything here. I downloaded the FAR, I downloaded all the bylaws. So evaluate everything and give me a response. The proposals that come back are insane. And I'm okay if it's off a little bit here and there, but just to give me that amount of data that I taught the transformer to use and give back to me in proposal writing. Oh man. So it makes it like I'm the Harvard grad, the Stanford grad, right? I went to Oxford and Cambridge, and I have all of that there for me. And if, especially if it says Booz Allen or if it's the Air Force, you are that person. So you tell it what to be, and it becomes that for you. Listen, when I saw that, changed the game. And there's multiple systems out there. The Power of Artificial Intelligence in Proposal Writing, here's another company. AI Thesis Research Guidance. So these are tools that you can actually take the research, and AI will create a thesis for you using the particular guidance that you give it. So you're basically downloading it and telling it how to think. I don't have to worry about trying to figure out how to Google something or maybe trying to no. It helps with pricing. Y'all, I get excited. I'm sorry. Because now it changes the game. Yes, it's a massive shift. Oh my gosh. So now I can talk to a Dr. Lori and a Michelle in a much more critical way to make sure that I can get that information over and then give it to the machine, let the machine do the thinking at a higher level than I can even. But now when I get it back, now I'm thinking at a higher level. Do y'all see where this goes? To where if you don't just start to play with it, this is fun for me. I'll sit up, I'll look back, it's 2 hours later. I'm playing around with this stuff, but I'm learning at the same time, right? And I'll see who's creating these tools and I find their books and I'll read their books and oh man, it's extremely exciting, right? A case study that we're doing, it's on my phone, it's on our website. We're creating our own GPT. So the Bank Ready GPT basically is everything you've seen me talk about with Bank Ready. All the procurement data I get, all the PDFs and the slides from every conference I've ever gone to, DoD, GovWin, Deltech, all those, I'm dumping it into the transformer and I'm telling it what to do. Learn this. When you answer these questions, make sure you've calculated everything that you've learned and put it in here. You can do that with your industry. If you're in healthcare, all the papers, all the New York Journal of Medicine papers, whatever, you teach it to learn what you wanted to learn. So when you ask it a question now, oh man, I'm asking my own library how to answer me. So imagine this. This is how I think about it. You're sitting outside of your library, any library. You can't read every book in the library, diagnose it, and then answer back. We're not built that way. We have no time. But boy, if I can take all the particular books and journals and periodicals and then put it into this machine, let it pull the data out for me and answer according to that, my likelihood of getting a correct and more accurate answer goes through the roof. So now for us in small business, look how much more powerful and more accurate and more effective and efficient you can be as a small business owner. No more excuses. This many. No more excuses. I want to key with this one. You kind of see where the future of AI is going. We need to make sure we're learning to adapt and adopt these technologies, not be afraid, but be innovative. Let me say it again. I think you'll hear me. Let's adapt, change where we were to where we're going, and adopt, bring these technologies on, not be afraid of it. I think there's a scripture that says, don't just not be afraid, right? But have sound mind, right? I'm not gonna start preaching too much, but be innovative. So we can be innovative with the things we don't need to be afraid of. What I would be afraid of is not jumping into this. What I would be afraid of is sitting back, twiddling my fingers, and wondering, oh, the man this or this or that. Man, forget all that. None of that matters right now. And I want y'all to notice what's going on. You've got this election and then the two wars that are going on, this and that, and this and that, and this and that. But if you sit in these government contract rooms, I was on the Department of Defense webinar today for an hour. They broke down all kind of stuff. There's going to be a have and a have-nots. And a lot of the haves is going to be right here. What you put in your brain and how you maneuver with that data. So, did the good Lord give us a blessing in having more technology that's been studied for years that we can be more efficient and actually be more profitable within our businesses and be a better SME at what we do within a space that some people think that we're being? No excuses anymore. None whatsoever. So I would say take what we've learned tonight. Thank God for Michelle. And this whole week of Small Business Week, and take all of what we've learned, sit back and spoon feed off of it. Take it in. And as a guy that looks like a lot of y'all, I think I do, you don't know this as much as I wanted to, but I will guarantee you this. This artificial intelligence, this advanced thinking, I hope it opens up your pineal gland and makes your melanin start to pop just a little bit more. Hopefully you get outside and get grounded, get into your word, your Quran, and start to really learn it and get settled in on what you have to do. Because the shift has already started. I think Dr. Lori said earlier, there's already a shift happening as we speak. So are you going to be a part of that shift in something that's not even hurting you? Wi-Fi, laptop, go. Wi-Fi, cell phone, go. Everybody's got it. There's no excuse for you to be scrolling through Instagram, listening to people fighting and talking about crazy mess. No, no, no. YouTube has it. There's 10 hours of training on a Microsoft YouTube channel on AI and generative AI and all these things. 10 hours. Y'all do that when y'all veg out on Netflix. I know you do, because I do. So quit tripping. I want no excuses from nobody, because 3 to 5 years from now, when this recession hits and we come out of it and everybody's doing their thing, I'm trying to tell you what I see, what I know. But to kind of land my plane with this whole thing without getting too preachy, um, your children are watching you too. You give them just a little bit of this and let them run with it. Oh my God. You give the kids this stuff. They have been trained to think way faster than we do. So our wisdom and their speed of thought and ingenuity, they'll come back with stuff you didn't think about. So imagine in our own black and brown households, in our own small business households, give it to your kids and see what they think. Don't make them like them kids is lazy. Yeah, they might be, but that's your fault. Help them, help us all really get into this thing and understand the depth and breadth of it. You'd be surprised what you find out. You'd be surprised as well how much more exhilarating and freeing their minds would be. Like I said, I had a conversation with Dr. Laura's son a couple months ago. This little kid's texting me stuff. I'm like, dude, how'd you figure this out? And he's like just much more like invigorated with life because he sees something and boom, he's taking off. I see it with a lot of kids that I'm mentoring. It's insane. And it gives me life even at my young age, as Michelle said. So again, I don't want to keep y'all too much. I'm glad y'all are here. I think this is an impactful hour. But for me and my mission to empower small businesses, women owned, veteran owned especially, to make certain that we have what we have, I pride myself in just learning and reading and researching and then using what I've learned to where if I can do it as a country boy from Louisiana, I'm not special. I'm not like some genius high IQ. But I guarantee you this, the stuff that I'm learning and how I'm applying it, if I can, you can. There's no reason why you can't. Some of y'all are smarter than me, but you're getting you're allowing yourself to be a little bit more comfortable. You're letting your pretty suits and your pretty dresses and your nice houses and things get you a little bit too comfortable. You don't have time to be comfortable right now. Be comfortable in your pursuit for a little bit higher level of excellence and be an example to where people can see what you're doing. No excuses anymore. Well, I didn't see the tweet. I didn't see the message. I was doing this. No, no. Got too much going on. We need to focus in on what we have to focus in on and understand that this is something that's happening. There's a shift happening. Don't miss this shift because you were just too whatever to not pay attention to the little things that are happening in front of you. It doesn't take hours, but I guarantee you, you will thank yourself 5 years later, 3 years later, when you jumped into this thing and started to learn how it moves. That's all I got for right now. I don't know if I can't hear you. Hold on.
No, it's me. I said you dropped the mic. Before we move into Q&A, um, would you share with people um, where they can learn more about you, engage with you, etc., if they want more?
AustinBusinessStrategies.com is our website. I think it's on here. It's trying not to put too much stuff out there, but yeah. So AustinBusinessStrategies.com is my website. LinkedIn, I'm on there a lot. So I was definitely telling people to go to the site, cruise around. It's a brand new site. A whole new facelift, and you'll start to learn what I do, what I don't do, and what I believe in, etc. And my LinkedIn's a pretty good page, and Instagram's a little bit more laid back, but a lot of my clips and talking points are there. So those three, you'll learn a lot. Book a one-on-one with me. We can really deep dive into what you're doing. I got a team of 15 now. Um, two brothers, and the rest of them are black women, powerful women. Hey, powerful women. So it's not just me. I got a whole team behind me between Darius, Siobhan, Kendra, Julian, Julius, the three we just hired. Yeah, we got a whole group. Legal compliance, the whole bit. So this is not
Wow.
just me, but
Wow.
yeah.
Wow. Well, I'm going to say, let me see. We got any questions in the chat? Somebody else asked a question. I think you answered the policy question.
Yeah, it's a big
Um,
one. It's a big
Let
one.
me see. Thank you. Yeah. Can you dive in more, since this is Small Business Week, and talking about the proposal piece?
Mhm.
Talk to us about, you know, if someone's starting out, they're doing their very first proposal. Um, what's the first thing they need to do in AI?
Use AI to research as much as you possibly can about the industry itself. Somebody put market feasibility in the chat.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
How feasible is what you're about to do? Will the market accept it?
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna say that like really loud into the microphone. How
Mm-hmm.
feasible? And if you Google market feasibility study, there's like 5 to 7 different segments of that: technical, financial, operational. So before you do anything, before you submit any RFI, RFQ, RP, so whatever, source of salt, whatever, the market, you need to know your market. Nobody can tell you nothing about. I had a conversation to that point with some JP Morgan consultants because you got the bankers, VP Bank, regional bank, then you got the consultants, the ones that deal with enterprise. And I made a comment about how JP Morgan funded the First World War with the DuPont family ammunition. And they're like, really? We didn't even know that. They teach us this. I'm like, how do you know that? Because I'm a government contracted consultant for businesses. I need the business to understand the beginning of finance till now and how these banks work, what banks really do. Because y'all be like, JP Morgan don't give me no money. They're not supposed to. That's another. But when you understand your market, so to answer your question, how feasible is this? Then I want to understand if I'm going to the Air Force. I want to know everything about the Air Force and how it does its professional services or what NAICS code I'm in. I'm going to NAICS.com. I'm pulling up the top 10 revenue driving companies in that NAICS code, PSC codes. I'm all in that. I want to know everything about it before I even jump in because once you start really peeling back your client, your market, and then what was the guidance the last couple of years going into that industry? How much money have they been spending? What's the goal? What's the mission behind all of that? Why is this even happening? Are you catching this thing midstream, early on, late adoption? What's happening? So when you go to propose your services, you know how you fit into this whole thing, right? And then hopefully you've made contact with a procurement officer or somebody within that department. You've gone to some industry days and whatnot. They at least know you. I've never sent a proposal dry, ever. You
Why
gonna
not?
know why.
Why not? Why not? I know that's a little segue, but I think it's an
Yeah.
important nugget to unpack.
Now that I have more wisdom, but is how I started out. I got a phone call, like I told you, but I was speaking at a chamber meeting, and the person who called me heard me speaking a year earlier
Mm.
about my business and what I was doing. So he knew me already, and I didn't even know him. So when I got there, it was already a warm intro. So I even asked him, "How did you find me?" "Oh, well, you were speaking at the such and such. I was in the back."
Mm.
We were planning this project out, and I was looking for, and you just happened to be there, so I kept your information, and that's why I called you.
Wow.
I like, really? Okay. So everything I go after has always been word of mouth, referral, blah, blah, blah. So I don't know anything else, but I've been in conversations and I've sat in meetings where they talk about the stack of proposals. I don't know these people. I'm calling who I know because I don't know these people. They can be lying. Those conversations, I'm sitting in them now to where I hear how they look at it. And I'm like, I don't want to, I would never be that. So I
Mm-hmm.
teach my clients the same thing. Let them at least know who you are. I've flown places, Michelle, sat in the lobby with my briefcase and binder and zip, my zip, just waiting. I bought the
Yes.
little lady donuts, I got her lunch. He's like, "Are you still here, sir? Who you here to meet?" "Well, he's busy." "All right, I'll
Yeah,
come back
I'll
tomorrow."
wait. But
Yeah,
that's because you knew who your client was.
no,
You're
gotcha.
not window shopping.
Damn time. Because window shopping says,
Mhm.
okay, so if I'm gonna spend 12 hours, doing whatever, in that 12 hours, I know exactly who I'm going after. And there's a person you go after, but there's another person in there that's got that influence on that person. And you'd be surprised, these little ladies at the front desk, how much access they have. So it was like 3 o'clock this particular trip, and that lady was like, "So what are you here for?" I didn't want to talk to her. I've been sitting there all day since 8 o'clock. "So what are you here for? What do you do?" We started talking to her. She said, "Sir, you should have been told me that. I didn't know." She said, "Well, ma'am, I don't. You've been busy all day. I didn't want to bother you." "Sir, listen, hold on." She hold on. She walks in the back, comes around the corner. He's got 30 minutes. Go.
Wow.
Walked, walked in. He canceled the rest of his meetings because we just kept it rolling. We went out. You know how it is when they start drinking. And it was just, and I stayed another 2, 3 days because, okay, we had
Wow.
something. He said,
Yeah.
"Yeah, I got all these papers on my desk, but listen, let's talk. What can you do? What can't you do?" And I was honest what I couldn't do. And he was actually okay with that. He said, "Well, you know what? I can find somebody that can do that part. But if you can do this part, I'll just put you on the contract by yourself."
Mm-hmm.
So that's how I learned how all this stuff works, because that's how it works. And these are people. People.
Yes, yes. And we look at, I should say we, small businesses look at um, contracts and the government as this bureaucracy thing when that is driven by people. People are behind everything. It is no like and trust, and it is that person has to feel, and that trust is based on low risk. That trust is based on you being able to deliver on what you said you could do, and you're not going to have me in trouble. My warrant's not going to be in jeopardy. I'm not going to look bad in front of my boss. And so, all those things I think are important. And I love, one of the things I admire most about, Sean is his ability, as I said, to build relationships. But a lot of that has to do with him understanding what the problems, the issues, and the needs are. We got a we got a
Can
question
I say
from
something
yeah,
on that
before we go.
before I?
Yeah.
Yeah. So before I answer that question, so what I notice a lot of small businesses do, and trust me, I feel you. When I first started, before that big project paid out, I probably had 7 payday loans out. The ones
Payday loans. I'm laughing because I just think of the commercial. So sorry.
I had payday loans out. I had the ones online and the ones you go in the check cashing place to get.
Yeah.
Listen, I was dead up to my eyeballs, floating one to pay the other, because I knew that thing was going to pay out. I just didn't know it took that much time.
Right.
So before bank ready even existed, I knew what I had to be bank ready for. When I walked into the bank and the lady said, "You're not ready," and crying in the car and like, "Nah, I ain't gonna take this no." Walk back into the bank, "Lady, I need this money." Sir, that's not $10. You asked for a couple $1 million, ma'am. I know, but she said, "Okay, hold on. You know why I denied you?" She went into that. She said, "You weren't ready yet." I said, "Ma'am, I know my numbers. How can you tell me I'm not ready?" But she showed me what bank ready really meant. I was like, "Oh, I didn't know that. I've got a degree in
Wow.
finance." She said, "But this is what you need to be underwriter ready for that much money. I could have given you this much, but you need this much." I'm like, "Oh,
Uh-huh.
okay. So what I need to do, man? Can I buy you dinner or something, whatever?" She said, "No, no, let's just sit here. I'm gonna get this done because I know what you're doing now." So I was able to tell my story. We have to be so patient. Again, that's why I hate the YouTube thing and the guru thing, because it makes people think they have to rush.
Yes.
I would rather you go to HEB, Kroger, Walmart, and stock groceries to make that extra money up, and take your time within the procurement life cycle to get to the people you need to get to.
Yes.
The event I'm giving, that I'm hosting in keynote for Tuesday, that was a year and about a month or two. Because the day I was supposed to get this project, it was another one just like this one. I was a day late. I
Oh
didn't know.
wow.
And the procurement guy told me, he said, "Hey, I think I got something for you, whatever." By the time he hit me back, he said, "Man, we're already, you're like really a day late." I said, "No problem." I said, "How often you gonna do these?" "Once a year, but nothing." So I hung out with him. I stayed on his radar and I learned more, da, 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 da. And then when it came up, I sent my proposal to him early. He, he said, "You know what? This answers everything. Hold on." By the end of the day, I got an answer back in a purchase order in my inbox.
Wow.
Take your time and understand the procurement life cycle
Yes.
of these things. Let people
Yeah.
do their thing, because procurement officers can only do so much depending on the time of year it is
That's true.
and their spend cycle and all of that. Once you get that down, then it's more like, okay, I can bob and weave with you. I can dance.
Yes.
I'm not tripping because it's on my, so I can pay my bills for now, knowing that's coming. And then, case in point, in the middle of it all, God has things happen. So my NASA prime contractor, who's my mentor, got referred to me by an SBA gentleman who was watching what we were doing. And I was at a NASA event, small business event. He said, "I know you want to go talk to Lockheed and all the big boys." He said, "No." He said, "Do you know her?" It's like, "I know of her. I've seen her." He said, "No. Do you know her? Go talk to her." That one piece of advice, this was almost 2 years
Wow.
ago,
Wow.
changed everything. So now I get inbox, hey, we got a private event to come to. I already got the table. You and your wife can come out, whatever. Now I get introduced to people who are 35 years retiring NASA, going private. Who introduces me? She does, because we sit every quarter, and she goes, okay, so what's going on now? What's the business? What are we doing? And
Wow.
now she just has to say, hey, he's a business consultant. Go work with him.
That's beautiful.
And
And
it's like,
and
yeah, that's just how
and
it works.
and what's amazing is Lori always says don't rush to failure. Your point about working a side gig to make up that money until the right your relationship in timing with that client is right to really bring it into the bank
Yeah,
is
you
really
can't rush it.
that's some powerful words right there.
Yeah, what was the other question?
Michael had a question. All right, did he have a question? He said
Uh,
I think it was about. Oh, here it is. This is it. Sorry about that. I'll bring your other comment back up in a minute.
what are some good courses, resources for us to take to get more proficient using AI to streamline our back office operations? Um, Google has a Google has a few generative AI courses that are free. Microsoft has a few that are free, and the NVIDIA ones now. All the generative AI and the deep learning ones are free. You can
Mm-hmm.
get certified. I've taken probably three of them. I'm certified with like three of them already. But those right there, those free ones, I say start with Google, go to Microsoft next. Microsoft, they come across as it's easy to learn, but if you don't understand the basic fundamentals in the natural language models and all that with how they break AI up, it's
Mm-hmm.
hard to get. And then NVIDIA's new one that they got out, man, that was nice. Take those, that'll help you because it'll teach you how to use the tool.
Mm-hmm.
And once you get it, man, yeah, it's a game changer. And anybody, I'd say take 6 months. Everybody here, take 6 months. Actually, you know what I'm gonna do? The infographic that I place up, I'm a make one of those off of that. So email me that, Michael, so I can make a whole thing on it because I think that'll help a lot of people.
And then, hey, Desiree, thank you. Thanks, Michael. Thanks, Lori, for joining. Who else we got here? We got Terrence, but Anthony. But go ahead and answer that question.
Can AI assist? Yeah. So that's we our tool does that. If I can pull up, I can show it to you. So yes, you can find an AI tool. I gotta put that one up because we built that one. So there are ones that you can use to do like investment accounts, compound interest, and all that kind of thing. Um, I need to post that one too because we built ours off of a couple different ones. Is there one tool for that? It's not a personal tool. It's more enterprise. It's hard to use, but let me
Mm,
find it. So stay on me with that one, and let me find one that you can use to at least do some simple projections.
mhm.
Because we pulled like four different tools together to make ours work easier. But
Let's
it's
see.
out there.
We got some more folks.
I'm
Uh,
with the question.
Anthony says LinkedIn Learning, NVIDIA, Google.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I forgot about LinkedIn Learning. Yeah, LinkedIn Learning is
Mm-hmm.
actually pretty powerful. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Anthony, my golf
Uh,
buddy.
yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah. Have y'all golfed yet?
We're about to. Well, it's raining so much out here, so we got a golf range tee time set up for tomorrow if it's not too wet.
Oh, sucking
Yeah,
now.
but if not
That's
soon
gonna.
enough, yeah.
When I see the nuclear cloud, I'll know there's trouble. But that's gonna be awesome for y'all to get a chance to hang out together.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's a good guy
good
right there.
people, good people, both of you. So
Thank you.
expecting some super things. Any more questions? We are about 7:23. We're probably gonna wrap up here in the next 5 or 6 minutes. So if y'all don't start pulling up these questions a little faster, oh here it is.
Uh,
Which one is it? Starting my business and in process of getting market analysis and projections. Which
okay,
one would you say?
okay. This might take me a couple minutes to answer, but I want to
No,
go
no,
into it.
it's fine.
Yeah,
It's fine.
yeah, this is important. So projections, that's last. Don't worry about projections right now.
Mm-hmm.
Let that be when you write your business plan, because you need one. We all do. Don't fall for that. You don't need a business plan because you can go after these SBA loans, 7A and 504 and all that. They need a plan. The bank needs to understand your story, and they're built to read business plans. They want to know executive summary, all these things, but they're going to look for certain key points in there, your risk assessment, all these things. Before you build that plan, treat it like you're going to find a house. Where's the lot? Do I want it east facing, north, south? Like here in Texas, it's hot. So at 5 o'clock, I don't want my backyard where the sun is. So you need to strategically set all this up in your head. So for you, do the mark. I'm gonna poke at you, but I'm doing it in fun. You were thinking faster than I was explaining it to you earlier. I jumped into market feasibility. How feasible is this idea? So which one is it? Starting my business in process, market analysis, market feasibility first. How feasible is this? That's the first two words that come off your tongue. Three, well, four. How feasible is this? Not that God told us to do it and I feel compelled. No, no, none of that. I want to do X. Does the market want that? Think of it as dating as well. Boy, he looked good, she looked good. But does she or he want me? And if we start dating, will it give me what I need back?
Mhm.
It might pay you well, but boy, that's a headache. He might have great money, but he's got some stuff going on. She's a little bit crazy. So feasibility. So look up market feasibility, see how feasible it is. Then I want you to study your market. Once you know it's a good thing, I want you to know it. Like know it to where when you're having a conversation with procurement or whomever, there's certain things you can ask them or talk about that makes the conversation. I'm giving you a lot of my sauce. This is how I dance. I will ask a question and wait for them to answer. And how they answer, I already got 4 or 5 things coming at you. Which punch am I going to pull? And I get real fancy, and you can do the same thing. I'll give you a little sauce, big punch. Little sauce, big punch. We talking for an hour at that point because I've got so much to talk about because I'm not just going to you for money or a contract. No, I'm building a relationship. I want you to know when I leave this conversation, you know what, he knows his stuff. I like that. They're impressed by that in a
Yes.
good way. So if you know your market like that, you can talk to a banker, you can talk to Michelle, you can talk to Dr. Laura, you can talk to anybody in any room. And people hear that conversation going on, you could be just you and him, and then a crowd may start around y'all.
Mhm.
Or somebody will hear you and pull you to the side. Hey, so that's where you
Mhm.
want to be. And then when you figure out, you know what, I know my market, I know how feasible this is, I know what procurement cycle, where I'm at. Is it October, fiscal year, government year, all that you want to know. And then you say, okay, I'm gonna plan to do this for the next 3 to 5 years. And then you write your plan. And then you see what projections, because how much money you coming to the table with, that's a whole other conversation.
Yeah.
So your projections technically free game. When you go to Nix.com and you put in your Nix code and your Nix codes, I would have a whole dry erase board and all the top 10 companies in those Nix codes go to Yahoo Finance and pull their projections down, pull their numbers down, and pull their stock charts if they're publicly traded companies. You lay all them charts out. If all the charts are doing this to some extent, okay, good market. If they're doing this, okay, it's flat. If they're kind of tinkering down, that's going to tell you the market is doing this. So what's doing what to make sure you're getting into a good market?
Sure.
All their numbers, how did they start out?
Mhm.
They may be 30 years in, but what was their first 3 years in business look like?
Yep.
That's studying your market. We don't do that enough. But if you
True.
did that, you would know your market better and you make a better decision because what you will find out, if what you thought wasn't a good idea, when you get into it's like, oh, I didn't know that was a good idea. And I can do that too. So what you thought is only based on what you know. And
Mhm.
we don't know that much. But if we do enough research, it'll show us, man, okay, I can do that. So
And the I tell people, and I think somebody else said it before. I think it was Dr. Travis. The government and success leave clues. Did this, that
oh yeah.
when you see the top companies in those spend areas that you were talking about, check them out. Look at their website. How did they communicate their value? How did they, if they have a cape statement there, download it, dissect it. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I'm gonna make a funny comment. I don't know if he's still here or not. Terrence, he's a client of ours.
Mm-hmm.
Terrence is in human resource consulting. We did this exercise where we went to NAICS and pulled up the human resource consulting firms, and it was
Mm-hmm.
Ori, some company I never heard of it before, but they have a whole page of just stuff they do. I'm like, this is a human resource consulting company. They do cybersecurity, this and that, this and that.
Mm-hmm.
And then it showed the revenue of the company in certain areas, and he's like, wait, what? I can do. And he told me what he did, like his resume. I'm like, well, you can do this too. But look how this company is set up. That's his avatar right there
Yeah,
in a company he
exactly.
never thought existed.
Exactly.
So now his mind is like
It,
research.
and then you're focused, right?
Very,
Instead of
very.
being general HR, right? And love it, love it, love it. We got any
Yeah,
more questions? Terrence said, "Unbelievable." Yeah, buddy, go get it. Go get
yeah,
it.
yeah. His mind is just blown after that. After that one day, he and his wife were amazing. But yeah, once he got it, it was it. But again, and I go back to my early days in research. That time in healthcare and cancer
That's the
research.
foundation. Let's see.
Yeah,
You've said that many times.
it
I
just
was
it.
in research, but it just, I'm a little slow sometimes. And just saying, I'm fast in some things, slow enough. But it just dawned on me why you approach business in the way that you do, because your foundation already is research.
So let me give you a little tip that I don't think I've ever told anybody before. So if y'all look up Dr. Helen Heslop, Heslop, Dr. Helen is the one who had to let us go. But Helen Heslop, her bio is like pages long. I was her analyst. So we met every Tuesday morning, and I had my little white coat. So I walked from Texas Children's. I mean, I walked from Methodist, where my office was on the ninth floor, down to the first level. Walked over to Texas Children's. Nice walk, every Tuesday.
Uh-huh.
I was nervous because I had to present. It's just me and her in that office, and we always sat at this big old conference table. So I'm sitting there, and I'm what my research would do is like y'all hear the commercials and all the FDA stuff and the side effects and all that. That's what majorly my research would categorize. Like what was the end result, the findings of that data.
Wow.
But what I found interesting with her was every time I get to the right at the end of it, when I'm like, I know you shouldn't know this, but you do. And she would finish my sentences. And one day I said, Doc, how do you know? Like, I mean, we cool now. How do you know this stuff? She's like, that's true. I never told you. Okay, sit down. I'm gonna cancel your rest of your meetings. We sat there for about a couple hours, and she laid out projections, patterns, how things
Yes.
happen,
Yes.
how to tell what's what after what, and if you study
Yes.
this, this should happen. And she said, if it doesn't happen, it's an anomaly. Okay, I said, oh,
Yeah, I'm
got it.
looking her up. She has
Yeah, she's
she
bad.
has 53,840 citations.
Something else.
That's amazing. That means her thought leadership and expertise, her things she's published,
Yeah.
it's cited 53,800.
Yeah. She
Wow,
was just
wow.
between her and Dr. Karam, that whole group. She came from New Zealand, went to London, St. Jude's, and then came to Houston.
Hmm. Hmm.
Um, Amazing. So now when I was delivering it was a rhythm now. So when I went on the floor, I could tell stuff the doctors didn't even know because I knew what to predict and how to tell. So
Hmm.
research is research, research. And what I noticed too, that's why I laugh at YouTube and all, because you can't say anything crazy in these hospitals. When the way they train their doctors that are in their interns, residency, and all that, on Wednesdays, they'll be in a room and they have to present a case. Boy, the heads of departments would just rail them. I mean, some of them would be crying, sweating. I mean, they would just, I mean, it was just, but they said, if there's a code or anything happens, we can't, you have to be ready and be on it. I took that as like football. We're going to train. We're going to get to the point where there's no, so I treat the same thing in business. There's nothing I won't know or can't know about an industry that I'm in. So when you ask me a question, I need to be on it. And if I
That's why
don't
you
know,
can't date 50 people. That's why you can't. You have to
no.
have three, two or three markets that you're very focused on so you can go deep.
To
And
that
why?
point, I have to
Mm-hmm.
say this.
Mm-hmm.
When you're other side of the table, and Dr. Laura probably appreciate this. When you're answering a procurement officer, CEO, whomever, they have a very finite problem. Problem's right here. You come off too all over, you can't solve my problem, boo. You don't know
Yeah.
what you're doing.
Yeah.
And they get mad because you can't fix the problem doing all this. But
True.
if you're finite in your niche, and this is where nature even comes in, you put a seed in the ground, relationship I'm trying to find. The seed does what first? It develops a root system, it goes down deep,
Yes.
then it anchors.
Yes.
Then,
It goes
then,
up and out. Mm-hmm.
but you got to go down one, then the root. So when you go down to the relationship, you niche down there first. Then the roots
Then,
do that. Yeah, it's gonna take care of itself. And then the fruit comes from there. And at that point, you just roll it. So,
yes.
but if you're trying to plant in the Lord said, bring it to the altar, bring the blood on the altar. Oh, I'm gonna take it back. I'm gonna bring it. No, I'm gonna take it back. You're lukewarm. Scripture tells us
Mm-hmm.
don't be lukewarm. That's the same
Mm-hmm.
thing in business.
Yes.
So to that point, I want to
Be,
always say that because
don't
I
be
can't.
hot
Yeah,
or cold. Pick a side. Don't be wavering back and forth.
yeah, no,
Yeah,
no,
yeah. He
no,
also
no.
said, to your point about being niching and being very focused, he also said where there is vision, there is provision, right? So if you're very focused on what you need to do, you're doing the work, putting in the work, then people will see your vision, right? And then they'll want to you know,
Very true.
help you with it,
Very true.
reward you, your services and products, and in return for for payment. Yeah, I love it. I love
Yes,
it.
yes.
Brother, you preaching, okay, Reverend Doctor Austin? That
I gotta
PK is
look.
coming out.
I took the gloves off because we're at a point now. I'm gonna go preach again just for a little second. We're at a point now to where I think we get to this point in our careers. I don't have any room for people with excuses. I don't need to sob stories. Nobody does. The market doesn't. I know a lot of us feel compelled to tell us the whole thing. If I cut you off and like I'm trying to get to the point, we need to get to the point. I'm not your counselor. Go get one. I'm not your
Mm,
pastor. Go get one. We need to get
mm,
this stuff done now. Our
yes,
ancestors from slavery, pre-slavery, even before the Moors even went into Spain, before it came over here, all this other stuff that's been going on. We don't have time for all this. We need to get to it, and then in the process of getting to it, God has a way of healing us in that process. But if we get too
amen.
comfortable, woe is me. No, 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 no.
No,
We got to get to it.
I agree. I believe the best way to get over your struggle, your challenge, is to go serve somebody else.
So to that point, and I gotta say it. I guess God's telling me to let it out. So y'all know I have this thing in my neck, right?
Mhm.
So I hadn't told too many people, but I got a biopsy done week and a half ago, and it came back as a cancerous diagnosis. So we're doing a PET scan Monday to see what it is and to see how far the cancer is and what it is. And they're saying it's highly treatable. But to that point,
Thank
I
God.
can't sit here and be like, my wife's got a heart issue. I have cancer that I have to deal with. What am I going to do? I have to start serving other people. I have to be
Yes.
Jesus, and I have to start
Yes.
washing some feet and
Yes.
and focus on that and let my faith be like He gonna take care of this while I
Yes.
while I keep serving. So I
Yes.
can't worry about this like it's an issue that He can't solve because through His stripes I'm healed. I got to keep going. So
Amen.
even more so now, I don't have time. I don't have time. We don't have time to be playing around. We got to get this because we all need each other. I need
Yes.
you. Y'all need us. We got to go.
We are all
So,
members of the body. We having church tonight, y'all. We
amen.
are all members of the body.
And I appreciate
Well,
you for all this too, because you've been amazing ever since we met. So thank you for all you do, all you haven't told me you've done for all of us. And I know you got your struggles and your weight to bear, and we will
yes.
help you carry it for you because without you, a lot of us, this wouldn't be. We wouldn't have it. We wouldn't have sowing our seeds. We wouldn't have so
Yes.
many things.
Yes.
So, and I'm just excited to see what's coming when you
Well,
are. in that space.
Yes, and it is coming, and I'm really just honored. Something I never take for granted is, um, you could have been doing something else, right? When you came into the room, and I immediately saw your value, and that's really how it is with everybody that I come in contact with, that I God tells me share this platform with. It is almost like, John and Jesus in the womb. They leaped in recognition of each other, and that's kind of my litmus test is, does my vision, my baby that God has given me, leap in recognition of what this person is carrying? And when that happens, I don't have to. All I have to do is give the invitation, because I'm being obedient, and then God just does the rest. And that's the way it was with Lori. That's the way it was with you. That's the way it was with Chanel. Lisa.
Yeah.
Marvin. Anthony. All of you. And even two of the guests, that Linda Gray,
Oh,
two of the gentlemen that joined this week, William Randolph. I'm like, brother, you can come anytime. Come on.
yeah, yeah.
Guy Timberlake, go to guy. I'm like, you can come anytime. I'm like, you are welcome, because I got even more excited about something I'm already passionate about. Right. So I'm like, I can tell, we were talking when we were at Sowing Our Seeds, Lori's event. And oh, by the
Hmm.
way, it's coming up.
Yeah.
Um, all of these different, each of us have these different things to plant, but then you look and there's this beautiful forest of tall trees, of amazing garden, that each of us are making that work, and we are nurturing and feeding each other. And so I'm just, I'm really honored. I'm the one blessed, I would say, of just being obedient,
Hmm.
right? And I have something, that I live by since we preaching. um you know um when we are obedient, God will change the order of things and order the change of things. And on the other side of obedience are blessings and opportunity. And so, I don't have no choice but to be obedient. And people say, why do you do this? And, it's a lot. It is a lot. If you saw
Hmm.
what goes on behind the scenes to be able to do this, no virtual assistant, no staff, working a full time job, this is God. And that's why you know, um, I refuse to stop, because this is mission and ministry, and
It
you
is.
all are part of that. And I'm honored, that you're here. Hey, Margaret, thank you so much. I'm glad that you all are in my life.
Same here.
With that, I'm going to give you opportunity to tell how they can find you, what you got going on, what's coming up, and then we're gonna close out.
Yeah, so I made a post today on LinkedIn. I officially announced that I'm a partner in a venture
I saw
capital
that.
firm. Yeah.
Tell us more about that.
So FTC is a venture capital firm. They're out in Seattle. They do a lot of tech. So a lot of tech companies, AI companies, small businesses. The wife of the head of the venture capital firm, she's like head of procurement over there. So there's a lot of small businesses I'm able to work with that's in that 50 to $100 million range. There's a project that we're doing. I want to say it so bad, but I can't. But it's dealing with procurement, and it's going to revolutionize how procurement funding is done. So many things, and they want me to almost not sell bank ready, but I'll be a CEO of that company project. So a lot's going on there. So the ability to
Congratulations.
even thank you. So the ability to consult, and sometimes you kind of blink like I am that good, but I'm that good because God has allowed it to be that good in that space. So I make sure I'm humble, but you have to say what you have to say to be and manifest it and verbalize it.
Mhm.
So I have a mentorship group that I have now. It's on pause for new members until we get a few things in our back office done, and I'll open it up again because we do like a coffee session every third Saturday, and they have
Hmm,
homework and everything. So I'm
nice.
mentoring some small businesses to where we can have this talk, but they come on where you at. Let's go. No headaches. No, not a whole lot of paperwork. But I'm really getting into the minutia of what they do. Um, we're going to be bringing a few products to market. We have our own AI course that we'll be bringing out, our own
Wow.
procurement, business development course, if you will, but it's going to be almost like a blueprint because what we're doing at Texas Southern, we're going to bring the Prairie, going to bring the Southern, going to bring the Hampton, going to bring the Morehouse. That blueprint,
Yes.
gonna yeah. So it's all like moving together because if we can get our small businesses, I found a way to make the bridge even bigger and faster, like a speed train. We can take the business idea and the business model that we know works in procurement, use acquisitions to make them bigger than they are, still operate the same. Put
Hmm.
that into the government tracks, local, federal, however it needs to be, and give them the brain power to really move this thing on.
Wow.
Bring the kids along. Everything that's happening is all lines up. So that's what we're bringing to the table. So just follow me on Coach John Austin on IG. Follow me here on LinkedIn. Our website definitely, be a frequent member there. And when I have these procurement sessions, not webinars, symposiums that we'll be hosting, I'm bringing in, government people that do this locally, so people can see, oh, that person's my council member, that's my
Yeah.
banker, that's
Yeah.
my so and so.
Yeah.
This is Texas Southern University, Prairie View. Oh, I can work with them. Wait, hold on, I didn't know this. And now we can make it
Hmm.
easier for our people to understand it locally and tap into the federal along the way. The learning curve just went away, and
Wow.
now this is how we do business.
Wow. Well, I'm gonna tell you, I'm honored to have a front row seat to all that you are doing, all that God is doing in your life. You truly are my brother in so many ways. Not only in the fraternity sorority, but in spirit and along this journey. Ladies and gentlemen, please leave some information, in the chat. I see Lori put her SOS. He's going to be in Hilton Head, South Carolina, at her event, 10 through 14 October. We learned how AI is the future. It's like a tool in anybody's hand. Back in the day, for those of you who are old enough, a VCR in the hands of a baby meant they were going to put cookies, candy, and toys in there, and that was not its original purpose. And so, what I'm basically saying is, let's grow up, let's get educated. Coach has challenged us to get educated so that we are enabled and empowered to leverage AI to grow our business in a way that we couldn't have or may have taken us much longer. I want to thank everybody for joining. Don't forget, if you missed this, share it with somebody. You can come to my profile, hit the events, and hit the replays. That's one of the wonderful things about being live. The GI Factor will be coming to you at least twice a month. And that will be in addition to demystifying government contracting. And we'll be doing interviews and things just like we're doing here. But we're going to inspire. We're going to continue to innovate. And I'm excited about some folks I got lined up. So we're about to have a good time. But I want to thank you, brother. I love you and I appreciate you. And don't forget, we got 2 more days. We
I
got
know.
Lori Smith, my sister in service, coming.
Buckle up
And
for
we
that
got
one.
we got Anthony Peters, new brother. They're both gonna be on Saturday. And then we got I mean, just the master mind. I'm gonna call her Chanel, who has more in her brain. And I don't even think we've seen. We're just cracking the door. She's gonna be here tomorrow,
Yeah.
talking about teaming and the Rescue Recovery Act and how to be successful at the local level. all part of the Demystifying Government Contracting community. And I can't wait. It's going to be so much fun. So, with that, we'll see you later. Thanks for joining. Don't forget to share and forward this and tell folks how much you enjoyed it. And we'll say goodnight. Thank you.
No problem. Love you
Bye
guys.
bye. Love you
Bye.
too.